Recruiter here, the headless headhunter, getting you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resume. What the resume we have up first is a recruiter. I am sad that another fellow recruiter is looking for work, but I'm happy to be able to review another recruiter's resume. Also, this person has way more experience than me as a recruiter. But my specialty is, well, a lot of different stuff. So the first thing when you're looking at a recruiter is, there's two different types, ideally. There's passive candidate recruiters and there's active candidate recruiters. Typically, this breaks down into external versus internal recruiters. And to my best guess, this person is going to be about of an external recruiter primarily, or at least do the duties of passive candidate more so than an internal. The reason I state that is I had to look through the resume, and basically the difference for everybody else who doesn't know, and again, these are broad terms, sometimes they can mix, but internal recruiters have a higher volume of applications they deal with, but they're not always going to be able to fill some of the more niche, tougher ones. While on the other hand, an external recruiter, or in this case, a recruiter that works on passive candidates sourcing, their volume of requisitions is going to be lower, and they are expected to sort of tackle the more difficult to fill ones. So as an example, getting an entry-level software engineer in this market, internals probably have 1,500 people in like an hour they can find. External recruiters would be finding, say, the 10-year vet who has COBOL that in rural Texas, right? So loosely, I believe this is an external type role, so it's going to be a heavy sourcing role. It's going to be filling difficult requisitions. That's what I found based specifically on their resume. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe they're looking for internal, in which case that is the problem, because this reads more like a passive candidate sourcing recruiter. So I did a meter you did this, and I can't move forward with it. It's close, but I can't do it. So what we're looking for is the industry and its types of roles. So in this case, like tech and software engineers, or healthcare and nurses and PLNs and doctors, or law and paralegals and trial lawyers. So what part are you in and what are you sourcing for? Then the company type. So again, maybe it's a startup, maybe it's a big corporation. You need to be able to work with both of them. And then passive candidate sourcing. Again, this is going to be the bulk of it for a passive candidate type resume, in which case, which is closer aligned to what a resume for an external recruiter would look like, rather than necessarily an internal recruiter, because they don't usually have the bandwidth to do that deep sourcing. And LinkedIn recruiter, because again, they want to know that you can recruit, how you've done it, how you've done those tough markets, and did you do any headhunting? This is where my name comes from, specifically where my name comes from. The ATS and its type could be, I'm going to name a bunch, Ashby, could be Workday, could be Taleo, could be ADP, anything. Basically, they want to know that you have used an ATS. Then, did you do full cycle recruiting? Did you do, which is going to be from the very beginning to the very end? Did you do full desk recruiting, which is also going to be more for externals, which may not qualify for this person as there's so many terms for it. Basically, did you get the client and then fill the role, or did you just fill the role after they already have the client? And that includes, again, sourcing, screening, interviewing. Can you multitask? You will need to as a recruiter. And then how have you dealt with hiring managers and stakeholders and labor laws? Again, this is focused primarily on a sourcing type role. If you are looking for more of an internal one, that would be more of a high volume role. Those qualifications would be different. So that was a lot, but also this is my industry, so I know my industry. Although sometimes they come out with a new acronym every 3 months, and I have to relearn half the stuff. It's a lot. So this person has applied to, we don't know. They said they're currently consulting for a few game companies, but it's been quite challenging to get an interview for future contract or full-time work in this job market. Yes. So this job market is terrible for recruiters. This is one of the worst job markets for recruiters in a very, very long time. I was not there in the .com crash or the 2008 financial crash. I don't know if this is worse or not than them, but at least it is semi-comparable. So if you ever want to know if your industry is doing well or not, check to see how many people are hiring recruiters. So I talked too much about that. I'm sorry. I still have a migraine and I'm tired, but I want to make sure I help this. So, again, I don't need a summary. I don't need a summary because this is not what I'm going to be looking for. Your resume on average should still look like this. Now, again, this, I get it, but I need it to be in the bullet points. You can't just say, I did X. And if you think about it, you will probably go back to thinking of the own candidates you submitted. And most of the candidates that had a skill section, they may have gotten past you in the beginning, but then you started sending them to the hiring manager, and then the manager's like, I need to see how you did it. Same thing with us. Is it good that you have ATS, Taleo, Greenhouse, ISIMS, I never know how to pronounce that, Gem, and Beamery, which I've not actually heard before, and you have the type? Yes, but it still needs to be here. So, this is okay. Talent acquisition consulting, supporting a variety of clients and startups, small companies and game studios, good, that are without a dedicated talent acquisition. So, I like the principle here, but you kind of told us too much. You know what I just need to say? Hired of, let's say, startups, small companies, game studios. Full cycle hire. Gosh, I have to double check every single time they change all the acronyms on it. So, full cycle recruiting of game studios, startups, small companies, where I sourced passive candidates such as X and Y using LinkedIn Recruiter and our own personal ATS, and then put what that ATS is. So again, this is about how I want to see it. Then you can go into stuff that you did. So sourcing and recruiting projects. See, from quick sourcing and contract hires to deep research for executive roles. I don't want to see you did the research. I want to know how you had the success, right? Because like they're gonna know like what was your days to fill. How long did it take you to fill that game developer role? How did you talk to hiring managers when they are looking for something that does not exist? Because the truth is, if you're a recruiter, 20% of your job is looking at resumes. The rest of it is, well, paperwork and basically convincing hiring managers that, hey, what you're looking for doesn't exist based on your budget, unless we get crazy super lucky. That's actually part of headhunting too, is you also have to determine, is this an actual fillable role? Because not all the time it is. And you have to talk to the hiring manager about it. Consulting, planning, staff augmentation. Again, this is not what I'd be looking for. This is fine. I like this, but again, this could also be part of your full sentence. So the problem I have with this very first line, besides the formatting, is that all you said was that you worked with startups, small companies, and game studios full cycle for engineering, art, and design. And again, that's okay, but you can't waste 4 basic sentences on it. I need more. Then we go here. Lead full cycle recruiter. Good. For game teams, central services. I don't know what that is, but again, maybe the people that are hiring, that is their niche. And G and A, again, I don't know if that is. I haven't been in the games industry. Technical engineering general roles across Americas and EMEA. See, that part is good. But I want to know a little bit more specific. So not just technical engineering, just say roles such as X, Y, and Z. And then supporting unannounced free-to-play games. Again, maybe that's nice. Internal tools. See, this is good, but here's the problem. You didn't say ATS. What if the person hiring you doesn't know what an ATS is? What if they, like everybody else, assumes it's a mythical rejecting thing? Because it's possible that the person hiring you, like you said, is a startup. So you need to say used ATS tools such as X and Y. In fact, what I found most was LinkedIn Recruiter. I don't know if I see LinkedIn at all. LinkedIn is not in your entire resume. What about Indeed? I didn't see it as much, although that's usually more for blue collar than white collar. Didn't see it. Let's see about sourcing. We have one thing of sourcing. This one is okay, but they're probably not going to go into it. And then here. So your problem is there's a lot of junk up here. And again, I'm still not fully sure what type of role you're going for. I think it's more passive candidate sourcing. And I know sometimes they ask you to do both, but usually it's more focused on volume or passive candidates. Usually you don't always get a combo of the two, or you get a recruiter that usually fails at both. So yeah, I don't see it there. I don't see LinkedIn. Do I even see the word ATS besides up there? I don't. I see it up there. What about screening? I think I did see screening. No, I don't see screening at all. What about interviewing? Yes, that part I did see. So yeah, you're missing some of the basic qualifications that they're looking for. And that's a problem. I don't see it. I don't see that. Here, this was a really hot market for recruiters. This was right when it started to crash, actually. So that actually stinks that you were kind of there for the really hot market and then left right when it didn't work. But you were able to get a job in a tough market because this is written pretty well. Responsible for full cycle recruiting, specializing in engineering, art, and design across first-party game studios, including Worlds. See, this is great. I like this. Provided constant support and recruiting best practices. Good. Yeah, this is what I'd want to see. And then here, that's the problem, is what I want to see is all the way down here. You know as well as I do, there's no way they're getting this far down. Maybe if they're doing headhunting, they have the time to go that far down. But if they're doing headhunting, they probably are not they're not headhunting for recruiters. The recruiter to recruiter headhunting market is pretty garbage right now. They probably don't need that. It's only going to be internal. So I need you to put your internal hat on and make your resume look like what an internal recruiter would. And this is close to what I was looking for. Yeah, 100% offer acceptance first month, 10 months of fill. These are great. This is the stuff I'd be looking for. And then you frame it like all this stuff. So again, I'm not looking for impressive. Just put on your internal hat, because the people that are hiring you right now are probably going to be internal if they're looking for a deep sourcer. And they may not have the qualifications to necessarily do it, because again, you can usually break recruiters down into passive candidate recruiters and active candidate recruiters, and they don't always mesh. It's like the difference between American football and European, like between soccer and American football. They are there, even though both involve a goal, both involve a ball, both involve points and people, everything else is different. So this is the best I could do right here. And yeah, even down here, this is good. No one's going to get down this far. I need you to put your internal hat on and write this like you would for a internal recruiter that has 80 different requisitions and no time to look at them, which is what I do most of this. So I need you to start writing this stuff. I want you to put the stuff you wrote here and start putting it into here. Delete this, and shockingly, you should put your education up at the top. A lot of people like a tech adjacent education for tech recruiters. They think it adds more value to it. Regardless of whether or not you agree with that, they find it valuable. So you should actually put your education up at the top, just like this. So that's all I can do for this resume. I hope this has been helpful to you, fellow recruiter. I'm trying to get us as helpful as I can. And if anybody ever needs more help, they can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST. That's where I get these qualifications. Like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of, I don't actually know. I say machine learning engineer, but they said they haven't gotten a single interview since they started their job search. Which I don't know when, but I assume it's a little bit longer. They are looking for jobs like data analyst, machine learning engineer, and data engineer. Those are all different jobs. You would need a separate resume for each of those roles. If you are applying to a data engineer job with a machine learning engineer resume, you are going to get rejected. If you apply to a machine learning engineer with a data analyst resume, you are going to get rejected. In fact, here's why. So this is what I'd be looking for in a data engineer. This right here is machine learning. This is data engineer. Those are different. Those are different. So let's see if we can't fix it. Although from my understanding, the biggest thing is we split these into 3 separate resumes. All right. So can I find what I need for a data engineer? They did say data engineer, right? Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. All right. Let's find it. So what we need for a data engineer is Python, ETL or ELT, Scala, data algorithms, SDLC, SQL, Big Data, Spark, Cloud. Don't know why I put cloud twice. Ability to manage and communicate data plans to non-technical people, data lake, data pipelines, data warehouse. So those are kind of the things that we're going to be looking for, and let's see if I can find them in 20 seconds. Big data is good. Ubuntu, no. MySQL, one thing I need. Cloud is okay. The big data is 4. I think that's it. Oh, here, ETL. This is not bad so far. Anomaly sections are the 10. So that's all I found. Is 5 enough? Almost. Honestly, what I really need is to see how you talk to other people with it. Like, you do need to communicate data plans to non-technical people. So I actually don't think there's terrible stuff, but the problem is, here's the thing. I went down to like here-ish, and there's so much stuff I don't need. I don't need Snowflake. I don't need Ubuntu. I don't need Docker. I don't need 8TB HIPAA. I don't need, let's see, relational management systems. I don't need CTEs. I don't need 15%. So part of your issue is there's too much extraneous stuff. And look at this. You've been at this job for, what is this? March, June, July, August, 4 months, and you have 6 giant bullet points. I think there's a little much here for an intern. Like, interns shouldn't be this long. And each bullet point needs to be three lines maximum. So you're going to like 4 on this one. You're going to 4 and 5 on this one. And again, like, I don't know if I care about RESTful APIs if I'm going for a data engineer. So you need to shrink it. And another part of the issue is you say 3-year STEM OPT. This is not what you need to do. Now, I have said previously, you need to put what work visa you're on and explain it. The problem is you did not explain it. These people who are hiring for you may not know that they can work with an OPT. They don't know the difference between an OPT and an H-1B visa. So what you need to do is, instead of this up here, is you need to explain it to them. You say, I can work for any company on an OPT with no extra cost for the company legally, right? They may not know. So don't just say work authorization 3-year STEM OPT. You need to describe how they can work with it. So that's one of your problems. The second problem is these are way too long. I mean, these are giant sentences, and there's so much stuff that I'm not looking for. To the point where they may go down here and then stop looking because they don't see enough stuff. So again, data engineers need this. Machine learning engineers need this. Those are different. Can I find this in 20 seconds? Maybe. But actually, no, there's not a lot that I see. So I see SQL, which I need. I see cloud. I don't need ETL. Machine learning, here we go. But I don't know if they're going to get to that. So your problem is you haven't focused your resume. And you put the just STEM OPT without describing it. You have to describe how they can use it, because they may not be aware. So please break this resume into 3 things. Shrink these down. Again, you've been there for 6 months, and it takes up almost the entirety of the page. And where's your education? Hold on. There, all the way down here, this should still be up top. I don't need this. I don't need this. These 2 you can keep. Like, I need your education to show up at the top. This is a requirement. The degree is part of the requirement for a lot of these. So fix your formatting, put the education up the top, make this less jargon heavy and technical, and you should start having more success after you explain how we can work with your OPT. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a machine learning engineer. So this person stated, I like to know regarding this format that I want to get jobs in Sydney, Australia. Is the format already there? Structure and so on. Thank you for your help. So first off, I have not recruited in Australia. Maybe in the future I will. I am a US-based recruiter. I have knowledge of US-based recruiting. Not everything translates. I assume my format would work well in Sydney, Australia, but again, that is an assumption, and I cannot guarantee it. Well, I've got like 1 or 2 people, I think, a job in Australia, so it does work, at least, but it's, again, I need more sample sizes. So, what we're looking for, which probably could see from the last one again. Degree, machine learning, ML models, LLM, NLP, generative AI, Python, R, C++, Cloud SQL, TensorFlow, PyTorch, Skibbity-learn, Pandas, NumPy, LangChain, RAG. Customer-facing stakeholders, clients, be the subject matter expert, and then a bonus for all that stuff at the bottom, which is, again, very, very niche. Hence, it is a bonus. So, can I find it half asleep and with a massive migraine? Let's find out. Again, this is not needed. Again, oh my gosh, this is so hard to read. Okay, Flask and Python. I do need Python. LLM is good. Data pipelines I don't need. Python and SQL. Oh, this is so hard to read. Okay, that's it. No, nope. That's all. So yeah, that would be a yeet. Your format is terrible. So there are multiple reasons I have a problem with this. Again, maybe this is perfect in Australia. I doubt it, but there are multiple problems. So one, formatting alone, this is hard to read. If you could tell, I was only able to read down here. Now, again, I have a migraine. I suffer from those. I did not get like any sleep last night. But so may your recruiter reading your resume. And I could only get down to here. So what you need to do is take, actually, honestly, you need to redo all of this. None of this works. So I need you to just take this and unbold it. Control C, Control B, do it twice. Unbold everything. This can be deleted. It should be one line, and it should not be bolded. Same with this. This can be deleted. This should not have an underline on it, and nothing here should be bolded. Everything in your resume, with the exception of this up here, needs to be black and white. Again, your email and your LinkedIn or portfolio and your phone number, that can be in blue. That's fine. Everything else needs to be black and white and not bold everything. Stop bolding everything. Then I don't know what you did. This is, again, also not what I'm looking for. LLM, yes. Python, yes. SQL, yes. But that's all I found. What about TensorFlow, PyTorch, Skibbity-learn, Panda, NumPy, LangChain? How did you interact with other people? This is big. As an AI engineer, or alternatively an ML engineer, again, they can be slightly different, we need to know that you've interacted with people. We don't want an ML engineer to have somebody ask a question and then you just freeze like, you are the subject matter expert. We don't know how AI works. That's why we hired you. You need to be the one to tell us, and I need to see that. So there's a lot wrong with this, and this actively hurts my eyes to look at, so I'm kind of fighting to keep looking at this. Oh gosh. So we also need a little bit more bullet points, maybe 2 for each. And then, yeah, that's part of my problem here. It's so chaos. This is a big formatting issue. Maybe you have this stuff and I couldn't find it, but that is a nightmare to read. So redo it, make it look closer to this. Yeah, you don't need 5 bullet points for each, but I still need to know a little bit more. Like, how did you interact with the customers? What are the other tools like TensorFlow, PyTorch, Skibbity-learn that you used? Did you do modeling? Did you do machine learning? I need more. So that's all I can do, and please don't make your resume look like that. It is so hard to read. I found barely anything because it actively hurt my eyes. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of I have no idea at all. This person stated they are a software developer, and then their first line says cloud developer. They also fully dox themselves, so I can't scroll past this page, so shame. Stop doxing yourself, please. But they said they have absolutely no interviews. They're getting, let's see, I just don't know where I'm having a problem in my resume, but I'm just getting ghosted all the time. They have over 150 applications to interviews. So first off, the problem is I don't know what you are. A full stack is different than a backend Python, is different than a backend Java, is different than a .NET developer, is different than a front-end developer, is different than an AI engineer, is different than a mobile engineer. Those are all very, very different. I need to know what you are. And the problem is you said software developer. That is what you wrote to me that you were looking for. The very first line says AI developer. Those are way different jobs. So I'm going to try to find out what you are, because I truly don't know. And let's see if I can do that in 20 seconds. But that's probably your problem. All right. Again, I don't need this. Well, the Dean's List can be nice. This can be deleted. Develop microservices on AWS is okay. Python, okay. So you're a Python dev. CI/CD is good. Agile is good. Cross-functionally apply profiling. So are you Python? And then down here, it's, yeah, you're a Python. Okay, so here's the problem. This says AI developer. This is way too long. Again, this should be one line, not bolded. This can be deleted. You can keep the Dean's List, though. People like Dean's List. They do. But, like, it looks like you actually have the qualifications for a Python dev. So for, let's see, is this Canada? I think this is Canada. Do I have the Canadian ones? I don't. So for the US, these are what I'm looking for in a Python developer. Python, SQL, Docker, Cloud, its words. So AWS, GCP, Azure, and maybe like EC2 if you do AWS. RESTful APIs, Agile, Git, CI/CD, and one of these, full stack, AI, DevOps, or Django. You start, and again, you don't even need this here, by saying Cloud Engineer and AI Developer. So they're going to think, okay, it's an AI role. Then you go down here and you do the stuff that is actually for Python. So what you need to do is fully delete this, delete this, put this and then the Dean's List on 1 to 2 lines max, and then we can go down to the actual bullet points. Excuse me. I did find AWS. I did find Python. I did find CI/CD, and I found cross-functionally and agile. That is great. The problem is, despite what people may say, I am actually good at tech recruiting. I know more than the average recruiter on tech recruiting. They may see this and immediately think you're AI and ignore the rest of this despite what you said. So I'm going to try to go a little bit down here. Hopefully it doesn't dox. Okay, good. And here, Python, good. MySQL, good. Yeah, like, if you deleted, like, literally all of this and this, you would probably not get rejected. You have a lot of the qualifications for a Python dev. I'm missing Git. I have, let's see, I have, do I have, yeah, AWS is great. Python, I have SQL. I'm missing, like, maybe Docker and Django, or DevOps, or a little bit of AI, which is okay. But yeah, you don't specify. So you actually meet the qualifications for a lot of Python roles backend, but again, you start off with so much junk. So this is why you're getting ghosted, is this doesn't count. They see all this stuff, and then they see this, and they say, oh, AI, we don't need them. So make your resume focused and apply early. The faster you apply, the better your chances. If you apply too late, that will cause you to not get seen. ATSs work on a first come first serve basis, so if you are too late, you may not get seen. But yeah, this is actually some okay qualifications down here. Again, I'm missing your little subsection of this. So again, pick a little bit of AI, or a little bit of full stack, or a little bit of DevOps, but not all of them at once. So focus your resume, because this is chaos. And again, you do have it for some Python roles. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of, I don't know. This person did not put any information. They doxed themselves, and they said their ratio is 1 to 75. So I don't know if I believe that or not, because they did not read the instructions, and that means they probably didn't read the instructions on stop doxing yourself. So can I find what I need, which is basically, like, what are they in 20 seconds? Also, this font is so small. Please stop. I can barely read this. All right, and go. Oh, that's actually really solid. This is Python, good. API, ML. Is this Python? RAG. Okay, UI, UX, MongoDB. Where was I? I lost my place. I blinked and the font was so small. Yeah, so I don't know. I couldn't move this forward. I don't know what you are. Is this an AI role? Y'all can't just say AI role and then put software developer. You need to say, like, AI engineer, or ML engineer, or RAG developer, or agentic Python dev. anything that gives, or LLM or NLP. I need to know more. I can't just help you if you don't tell me what you are, because all of these are different. So I don't know, because you listed everything, and typically that's not what you want to do. Maybe this is like an LLM engineer, because again, you have back-end developer, and like, I'm not even talking about the titles, I'm just talking like focus. Like, I don't know what you want. I don't know what job you're seeking, and your resume doesn't tell me. And because your resume didn't tell me, well, I can't really help you. So please, everybody, give me more information. The last one, yeah, they said software developer, which wasn't a great title, but they gave me at least information in the little notes section. So please, when you submit, please, for the love of all that is holy, please, 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 please give me more information. Tell me a role that I can find. But if I type in software engineer, I will find 1,000 roles that you are not looking for. I need you to be specific. So it's all I can do for this resume, which I know is short, but like, it's a formatting issue, and I don't know what they're actually looking for, so I can't help. So please fix the formatting. Please tell me what you actually want, and I can help. And if anybody ever needs more help, they can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out, and I will see you in the next video where I help you get ahead of your job search.